Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Average Joe Dividends YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome to this channel. In this video, I'm going to go over the expenses, the income, and the gap that I had for the month of March. And as you can see here with this sheet, what I do is I track my expenses every time I spend a penny, whatever it is. You can see I have the date, the business, the amount, and the category. I track everything so I know exactly where my money is going. And I think it's really important you know what you're spending your money on. And all of us, we're going to have our own unique budget and our own expenses and our own real situation that we have. And in my case, you can see that I have a mortgage. Right now, that's my biggest expense on here, and I'm also helping my son with his expenses while he's going to college. So once I pay off the house, this is going to go down by a lot. It's going to be more like about $500 with the property taxes and insurance, and hopefully this will be going away next year as he will be graduating from college. So that's really going to reduce my expenses. But again, I put every single thing in here and nothing really out of the ordinary here. There was one extra expense that I had, and I kind of had to really think about this one. As what I did was I bought a car, and I didn't exactly pay cash for it. What I did was I financed it because of getting a better deal on the car from the lot. What they didn't know was I had the cash in reserves to pay it off, and I don't bank at a brick and mortar, so it was harder for me to get like a check cut, things like that. So what I did was I put $1,000 down on the car, and I was able to use a credit card, and there's no fees, so I got 2% cash back on that. Not really a big deal. And the loan fees were wiped out with the extra negotiation with the car. And if you're curious, what I did was I bought a 2019 Mustang GT, and it's all paid off. And I didn't want to show that. I mean, even though it is an expense, it's not exactly a consumable expense. Like everything I purchased here at Walmart was grocery related, things I used up and are all gone. The car, it's not a daily driver. It's going to essentially sit in the garage for 95+% of its life, and it's not going to depreciate a whole lot. So I didn't really know how to kind of work this one because it's not really an expense. It's more of, I could go out tomorrow and sell this car for really close or as much as I paid for it, minus the one-time fees, which already in April I had to plate it and pay the sales tax. That was $1,400, but I did show that expense. But the car itself, I didn't really want to show that because technically I could turn around and sell it and get my money back. These expenses here, like Walmart, All-Star Health, where I bought protein powder, things like that, supplements, those are used up. So that's why I didn't show that in here. And technically it was paid in April anyway, but here's the additional insurance cost because I had to put full coverage on this. And this is only for it was April, May, June, just covering that. And that was just bumping it with that new car. And I think it has to be because of what kind of car it is. But anyway, enough of that. You can see, the categories of everything. Nothing was crazy in my spending except for, again, adding that new car. And I'm kind of calling it my pre-retirement gift to myself. And also my birthday is coming up here in 4 days. So I'll be 52. So I've always been a car enthusiast. So here we have the, here's the expenses side. We can see here is the total. I spent nearly $5,000, $49.74.73. Now let's take a look at the income. And typically, for most of my life, really, I only had just a couple things. It was mostly W-2, maybe a little bit of interest from a savings account, but I've kind of changed it up and wanted to add like dividend paying stocks and some other things in here. And I'll show you where I'm getting some income sources other than my normal W-2, you can see here's interest from savings and checking, even a penny. I'm showing everything in here. And then M1, that's also interest as well. And here's dividends. A lot of times you'll see some of these companies like Kroger is a grocery store. You're going to see it over here in this column. But I've put them over here on the income column by owning shares of these companies. And most of these companies pay a dividend every single quarter. Some of them pay monthly. I'll show you. I have a couple monthly payers, and these are really essentially like paychecks, and they keep going up. I know this is not a lot of money for Kroger, but I don't own a whole lot of Kroger stock either. But what I do is I take that 553, I put it back into Kroger, and I'm also buying fractional shares, every single week of these companies. So if you check back in June for this very same video, you're going to see the Kroger dividends going to be higher. It's going to be higher than 553. Same with Aflac. These are more dividends. You can see the type. Here's more interest from savings. And this is going to go down for the M1 side because I used about $20,000 to pay off that car. And there's some other things in here. I do surveys at Swagbucks. I'll leave a link below. And if you join up, it gives me a $3 credit. And what I do is every morning, I just log in and listen to YouTube videos and things like that, get some news, and I do surveys. I'm making money while I'm just, taking in media, essentially. And this is just one of those. And I had a pretty big month because one of the surveys I did, they actually mailed me a vacuum cleaner, a Shark vacuum cleaner, where I got to home test it. And I was hoping they would just say, hey, go ahead and keep it, but they sent a return label after about 3 weeks where I just kind of spent a couple minutes every week explaining if I liked it or didn't, kind of rated it and things like that. But I just put it back in the original packaging and sent it back to them. No charge to me, but of that, they gave me $100 for that. That's what the $100 is there. There's another one there. So I had a pretty big month. I think the total just for the surveys alone, it was $155 that I got either in like Amazon gift cards or cash. You can do PayPal there or do Amazon. And sometimes they sell, I think once per month you can buy one like $25 card for $22. So it's a pretty good deal. So anyway, going through this, you can see W2 is the biggest. And there, I had a larger than normal paycheck here on this paycheck because I get bonuses every March and September. So there was a bonus and then back down to my normal, and it's net after contributing to my 401k and paying taxes there. So you can see more dividends in here again. More things you see on the expenses side. Home Depot is paying me every quarter. Same with like waste management. And you can see over here McDonald's and other things like that. Even on one day I found it was a dime and a nickel, I think, in the ground. Just found it. No one wanted it. I picked it up. And what I do is with the extra change, I know a lot of people don't use cash anymore, but what I do in like self-checkouts, they take coins. So what I'll do is I'll just pop those coins in there, and I took 15 cents off whatever I bought. So it's free money. And here is more bigger dividends that I have over here. Look at this one. It paid me over $900, and that's a quarterly dividend from Schwab's Dividend Equity ETF, otherwise known as SCHD. This is a monthly payer. BST, it paid me $507.29. So in the future, I could really, once I pay off my mortgage over here, I could use this to pay my taxes and insurance every single month. This will have me covered, which is pretty awesome. And then close it out, there's more dividends here. You can see there's a couple of Vanguard ones in here, like VXUS, VTSAX. These are quarterly. Every 3 months they pay. Same with the other dividends in here. They all pay every 3 months, with the exception of Realty Income, that 1365. That is monthly. And then that biggie right here, this is monthly. And they just keep going up because I'm buying more and more shares of those ETFs or companies. You can see here's the income total, very high. It was unusual, again, because of the bonus, but I'm adding up all income sources there. And then I kind of did some breakdown of the W-2 net, and then here's the total for the dividends alone. Here's interest off of savings. Here's surveys, $155. Didn't sell anything in Facebook Marketplace. Didn't get any YouTube income. And then here's a W-2 gap. I like to track that and have a gap every single month, but I don't think I'm going to have that next month with the extra expense of the $1,400 for the registration. And that kind of put me behind the 8 ball, as well as not having a bonus in April. So back to the normal pay. Here's the gap with interest, surveys, Facebook, and YouTube. So kind of all that, almost $3,500. So here's the expenses breakdown donut here, and you can see my largest expense by far is housing. A lot of people will say you shouldn't have your housing percentage above, it's like 30%. I forget what the rule is. I'm breaking that rule, but you can see though I have still have a nice gap. I'm just not blowing my money in other stuff. It would lower my housing expenses, but I don't need to spend it on something else to lower the housing expense. It's I'm controlling my expenses, but also having a good life as well. I'm not trying to do it at the extreme. You can see other things. Groceries were really high because of the protein powder and creatine. I like to work out, things like that. So that was very expensive. But those are expenses that are not every single month. It's usually every like 3, and the creatine is going to be every 6 months, or bought a huge jug. It could be a year. Who knows for that one. But you can see how these broken down. And what I do is I don't try to set like a limit on grocery. I'm going to spend $600 per month on grocery and stick to that. What I do is I just try to buy really, what I need and a little bit extra. I just kind of watch my spending, see where I'm at throughout the throughout the month, and then control it. I don't try to control the buckets at all. You can't control those. You'll drive yourself crazy trying to, keep a certain amount of spend for each bucket. You see the grocery again, it was very large. And just try to live within your means, and sometimes try to maybe defer some spending to the next month. And then sometimes by that time when you defer it, you may not even want it. So you could totally avoid that expense entirely. So let's scroll down. It will close out this video with the net worth, which is good news, bad news. Short term it's bad news, but we'll go over everything in here. Before we go over that, I didn't go over kind of like just in this box. I kind of give you a little background of kind of what I do. I try to pay everything on a credit card, and I pay the balance in full so I can take advantage of 2% cash back. So if you're paying cash for everything and you can be disciplined with a credit card, I think you're leaving 2% on the table. But if you're one of those that's going to charge it up, and when your charges don't feel like an actual purchase, then stay away from it. I use prepaid wireless with Mint Mobile. It's about $20 a month. I'll leave a link below if you want to sign up for it. I love it. I was using AT&T prior and paying about $100 a month just for one line, and I'm getting the same service with Mint Mobile. And it's about, they say it's $15, but when you add in all the taxes and stuff, it's more like $18. I just rounded up to $20, to count it, to be more honest. And the surveys this month will change that. It was actually $155. The dividends, it was a lot more than that. It was $23.30.99. Then the savings account interest, it was $293, so we went lower. Looks like I didn't change it from last month, but you guys get the idea here. A paid off car, which I have now paid off. I have 2 paid off cars. I have a Honda Civic Si. That was kind of the car that it was just kind of peppy enough to kind of have fun in, but really didn't cut it for, I wanted more of a muscle car. But I had that car. I bought it new in 2013 and paid it off quickly, and it's been paid off for at least 10 years. And so I've been really disciplined that way. So buying the Mustang, I hate when people say they earned it or whatever, or they deserve it is the worst. But I could easily pay for it and still not have it make a big hit as far as my net worth. We'll go over that, what that is. And so at Vanguard, I have An IRA, I have a taxable brokerage account, and that is the closing balance at the end of March, rounded to the nearest $100. And then at M1, I have an IRA at $673,400. And then over at T Rowe, that's my current employer 401k, and that's at 97.6. Of course, these are now lower because the market's been dipping, but I have full confidence it's going to come roaring back. It may take 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a couple years, but trust me, in time it will. And then so Synchrony, this is my 1 year emergency fund, $30,600. Capital One, 2 months kind of cushion over there. And then M1 taxable. This is where most of these dividends are coming from. The individuals like Duke, and same with like these two big ins right here, SCHD, BST. Those are in this portfolio. And then the Vanguard, that's where these dividends are coming from, the VXUS, VTSAX, and VU. I have other things paying dividends that are in the IRAs, but I'm not showing that as income because I don't have access to it. And what I'm doing is I'm just rolling those dividends back into those positions to make them pay more and more dividends down the road. And again, this is going to be lower for two reasons. The Mustang, and also I kicked in over $5,000 extra, kind of taking advantage of this dip, kind of buying into the dip. So this is going to be significantly lower next month, but that's okay because I moved some of it over to Synchrony. I have over 50K in Synchrony right now. It's a pretty good emergency fund, and then right about 12,000 in M1, and about 7,000 in Capital One right now because I had to pay all those expenses. But I'm sitting still over 70K in cash. And then here's my home equity, which really it doesn't help me out whatsoever until the house is paid off. Here's the closing total of net worth at $1.725 million, and then the change from last month went down 73,700. It's going to be the same case if this holds in April. It's going to be another dip going down. But here's the good news is over compared to last year, I'm up over 132K, and I didn't make close to that in W2 income or anything like that. That was just, part of it was the gap being reinvested, and then just my holdings going up a little bit, and that exceeded my income. And take a look at 4 years still, kind of keep things in perspective, still up 431K over the last 2 years. So really, you got to play it like a long game, and don't look at just the up and down, in the day, the week, the month. That's just too short of a time horizon. I think 2 years is too short too, but I really don't have the records. My records, when I was really tracking my net worth, only go back to like 2022, really June of 2022 is where it all started. So that's kind of my starting point. So I'm sure this will go up over time, be a higher number. We'll see higher highs and bigger dips, and then we'll have months where we're in the positives, and we'll just kind of go back. We'll look at February and see if we had a down month there as well. So then in January, up 47K. I'm just trying to show you examples of then down 52K, and then you will have good months where up 85K, and that's just what happens. I can't control that. Then in 1 month, pretty much flat, up 3,000. Look at September, up 26,000. You can see just like in September, that move up, in the direction of more than a car that I was happy with. It's just crazy. These swings, or up or down 100,000 plus. It's just going to happen when the net worth gets this high. You're going to see this kind of these swings, especially with this volatility. So that's all to show you guys for this video. I know budgeting, things like that, people hate it, but you have to have your spending under control, and you have to do the best with your income as well, and you have to have that gap, and you have to invest that gap. So thanks for sticking to the end of this video. Got value from the video, please click the like button. Also subscribe so you do not miss future videos. Tomorrow I'll be doing my $100 buy, and what I do is I pick 5 companies and I put $20 into each of those, so you don't want to miss that tomorrow. Thanks again.